This week I'm bringing you 4 more names, and don't forget, if you're into fantasy baseball or baseball content in general, hit that subscribe button. I don't throw around the term sleeper lightly. I try to give you names that no one's really talking about. In this case, I have 4 prospects that no one is really discussing in terms of 2023 being a year that they can contribute. 2 big things I try to factor in. 1, do they have a legit path to playing time? We're talking through injury, we're talking maybe the player ahead of them is underperforming, or the team they play for just doesn't have better options, or these guys could simply just fall into place without much effort. 2, they have to be on the 40-man. The first name on this list is Cade Marlowe of the Mariners. Between AA and AAA, he hit 23 home runs and stole 42 bases. At both stops last year, he posted a double-digit walk rate. And at each level, he posted at least a 350 OBP, a 363 WOBA, a 192 ISO, and at least a 108 WRC+. The strikeouts in AAA were a little concerning, but he still managed to hit 250 while striking out a ton. Small sample, but he has a very patient approach, which could be why the strikeouts spiked so hard in AAA. Next on this list is Triolo of the Pirates. Triolo is turning 25, and again, he's on the 40-man. The big thing here is it's the Pirates. And it's funny because he actually has a plus glove, so you would think, perfect. He's at a good age. There's no reason to hold him back. He proved himself in AA last year, so the upper minors, he might get a small taste, but doesn't really need a lot of time there. But he plays third base, where Brian Hayes can handle it just fine. So you think, okay, maybe shortstop, O'Neal Cruz. The Pirates don't have many players that are going to be blocking others, but the 2 positions that he would play primarily are being blocked. However, he can play the outfield, and there are talks about him playing second base where there's clear openings at both for Triolo. The next man on this list is Amaya for the Marlins, brought over from LA, and it's a simple fact that although the Marlins signed like 15 mil infielders this year, they're moving Jazz to the outfield. They have Arias, who has had health issues at times. They have Wendell, who hasn't been able to stay healthy. And they lack true depth there outside of John Birdie. And Amaya has a little bit of a flashy skill set, something that caught my attention anyway. He's posted consistently strong plate discipline numbers, double-digit walk rates, while often keeping the K rate mid-20s at worst, usually lower 20s, even sub 20%. In a little over 130 games last year, he put up 17 home runs and 6 stolen bases across 2 stops. It goes back to opportunity, and come mid-season, when the Marlins are likely sellers again, Amaya can easily find his way up and be in the middle of the infield and be an everyday contributor. Final guy on this list is Ben Brown of the Cubs. Among all the names on this list, Brown has the toughest path to actual relevance and playing time this season, but I do think if he starts off the season building off where he left off last year, Brown could see some run in the second half. He's got a fastball that sits in the mid-90s, tops out at 98, and apparently he's looking to differentiate between the slider and curveball more this year, while also possibly adding a split change or a change-up variation of sorts. He was working with Driveline to help develop something like that, so the fact that he's already working with Driveline and trying to better himself in that way, there is that intrigue there. So we're talking about a guy that has the velocity, should get the innings back up this year. Last year was kind of the first full season after Tommy John, and the Cubs really seem to be interested in trying to work on him and make him into a starter. There is high reliever risk here, as there are with pretty much any pitching prospect. We have a guy here with some solid stuff, solid velocity, and continues to tinker and work on it, and the Cubs still view him as a starter. I know it's a big if, but if he could put it together, we're talking about a guy in the second half that could come up for the Cubs and actually be decent for fantasy purposes. So of these names, I feel like he has the toughest path to relevance this year, but I still see a path. And that's why these are sleepers. Sleepers are guys with lower hit rates, but guys that you should be aware of, because if they hit, they can make a difference for your team, and that's what makes them so intriguing to monitor, have on your watch list, and be quick to scoop them up if they do indeed get the call and start performing. So that's going to do it for Sleepers 3.0. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button on your way out. It's greatly appreciated. And until next time, I'm Mike with GTE Fantasy.